Hello there and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Weapons and Tech. In this episode I'll be talking about the E-Web Heavy Repeating Blaster. Now, the E-Web, or as it's alternatively known as its full name, the Emplacement Weapon Heavy Blaster, was deployed during the Galactic Civil War, and it developed a unique co-production between the two largest and most successful weapons designer manufacturers in the galaxy, Blastech and Merson Munitions. It very quickly became one of the most popular weapons of its size and power. Now, Blastech and Merson each produced variations on the E-Web theme, but there were soon more similarities than differences between them. Merson's EWHB-10 was the most successful of that company's models, as it could be easily adapted to run on whatever power source was available, even in the trenches of Hoth, where the Mark II EWHB-10 was used by Alliance troops. Now, the Empire fielded the basic Blastech model, and their E-Web produced sufficient punch to be effective against everything from troops to lightly armored vehicles and even starships, assuming that, of course, the gunner was even good or lucky enough to actually hit something vital. They tended to have a maximum range of about half a kilometer with an optional range of 200 meters. Now, the initial popularity and lasting proliferation of the E-Web had a great deal to do with the fact that the two companies involved managed, much as Kuat Drive Yards did, to remain neutral during the war between the Rebel Alliance and the Empire. Add to that the effectiveness, convenience and ruggedness of the weapon, and the designers had a winning formula. However, as with any popular piece of technology, there are so many official and unofficial upgrades to the basic weapon that it became near impossible to find an original E-Web that you could actually call a standard model. Now, as its full name suggests, the E-Web was primarily a fixed emplacement weapon. However, it could function as an infantry support weapon, assuming the troops using it were expert in its operation and very physically fit. Now, the original E-Web's power generator had an auto setting that allowed a single trooper to ignore the charge and get on with firing the blaster. However, if you wanted a maximum fire rate, 2 operators were required. Now, the weapon drew its power from an X-Zone Class 423 generator, which was prone to overheating in a spectacular way unless it was closely monitored. And this was especially true if the force using the E-Web required it for infantry support, as it would need to be pre-charged to avoid a 15-minute cold start period. And even then, an E-Web team needed infantry support while they spent vulnerable minutes setting up their kit. Now, ultimately, Blastech released more advanced models. Later you had the F-Web variant, which was fitted with a small shield generator, capable of repelling small arms fire, although operating the shield generator required a third trooper to be added to the team. And an even later model, the E-Web 15, which also had a shield generator, but had a safer, more efficient self-monitoring generator, and a GK7 cryocooler unit fitted as standard. It could lay down an hour of continuous fire at a sufficient rate to repel all but the most determined enemy. And that is pretty much everything you need to know about the E-Web Heavy Repeating Blaster. You do see it in use during the Clone Wars, but I think the first time you see it is during the Battle of Hoth. They use one to mount and fire at the Millennium Falcon. And as usual, everything I say here is as close to canon as I can get. And I'll talk to you all in the next one, guys. Catch you later.